Henry had now embarked on his third marriage to Jane Seymour. In just over a year, she gave him the son that he craved. Edward, legitimate and a boy, was now undoubted heir.
Edward, quid petis ab ecclesia Dei?
Elizabeth, as his half-sister, was no more than a minor royal. She had once been princess herself. Now she was an attendant at her baby brother's christening.
Serva mandatum.
She also lost her governess to Edward, as Lady Bran was transferred to look after the young prince. Her replacement was Cat Ashley, a well-educated and devout woman who became very close to Elizabeth. Her father, on the other hand, scarcely saw her. For royal children, like Elizabeth, were brought up in the country, away from the royal court. There, Henry communicated with her by messenger. In December 1539, he sent Sir Thomas Wriothesley to convey his Christmas greetings.
She gave humble thanks, inquiring again of His Majesty's welfare, and that with as great a gravity as if she'd been 40 years old.
Children in the 16th century had to join the starched and corseted adult world as quickly as possible. They were expected to look like their parents and to behave like them. Even slight misdemeanours were severely punished. One royal tutor advised, never have the rod off a boy's back, and the daughter especially should be handled without cherishing. But Elizabeth was lucky. Her tutors belonged to the new school, which thought that kindness was a better teacher than the cane. But then, the young princess was a model pupil, and she studied languages from the age of 4. She became fluent in French, Italian, Latin, and Greek.
Sur un chevet touffu émaillé de couleurs d'un million de fleurs. Omente che scrivesti ciò che io vidi, persuasum est auctoritate maiorum. Cur ita sit, nihil tu me joces.
But it was how she learned languages that mattered as well. She was taught by the method of double translation. This means that the little girl had to translate a passage from Latin into English and then back again into Latin, getting it absolutely right, word for word. Now, for most children, this kind of thing would have been an absolute torment. But Elizabeth seems to have revelled in it. She must have had the mind of a computer programmer or an expert solver of crossword puzzles, because she continued to do translations for the whole of the rest of her life. She did them for fun and for relaxation, but she also did them as a kind of mental discipline to keep her emotions under control, just as nowadays some people might practice yoga or meditation. Elizabeth was the kind of daughter of whom any father would be proud, and this painting shows Henry's confidence in her. It commemorates his decision in 1544 to reinstate both his daughters in the succession. No woman had ever sat on the English throne before. Now, if Edward died without an heir, first Mary and then Elizabeth would become queen. Henry then sailed for France to fight a war, leaving his wife, Catherine Parr, as regent in charge of the kingdom. Elizabeth now witnessed at first hand that an intelligent, well-educated woman could rule effectively. At about this time, Elizabeth acquired a new tutor, Roger Ascham. He worked with the brightest minds at Cambridge, but he found Elizabeth more than their equal.
The Lady Elizabeth shines like a star. The constitution of her mind is exempt from female weakness. No apprehension can be quicker than hers.
She demonstrated her abilities in an extraordinary New Year's gift for her father. It's a work of prose, but it shows the 12-year-old girl to have been, in her way, just as much of a child prodigy as the young Mozart. It's bound in red cloth of gold heavily embroidered with Henry's initials, top and bottom. And, well, you can actually see it more clearly on the back. In the middle, a cipher. That's the interlaced initials for Henry and Catherine, spelt with a K, Catherine Parr. The cover's the work of a professional embroiderer, but inside it's all Elizabeth's own work. And what work? Page after page of perfect, beautiful, rhythmic, italic handwriting. It shows just how far she'd come on in a year. Her New Year's present of the year before to her stepmother is filled with mistakes, corrections, second thoughts. But here, nothing. First the Latin, then the French, then the Italian. Not a mistake, not a mistranslation, not a blot. Just perfection. But it's the introductory letter that really takes us into Elizabeth's own mind. She addresses her father, a very striking phrase, matchless and most kind father. She even has her own views on the importance of the state of kingship. The state of kingship, which philosophers say is equivalent to that of a god upon earth. In love with her father, perhaps even more in love with the idea of monarchy.
Elizabeth had never been more secure in her royal status. She basked in Henry's attention. In 1546, she had this portrait painted for him, and it shows her as she wished to be seen by her father. So she's studious, one finger marking a page in a book. She's pious. The book open on the lectern beside her is certainly the Bible. She is the virtuous Renaissance princess. But this tranquility could not last. Henry, her father, was dying.